Today we will conclude Lesson 1, measuring and converting linear quantities. But today we'll be focusing on performing conversions with non-standard conversions factor. So we are looking at non-standard conversion factors. Now, in our previous lesson, we looked at converting using standard factors. What I mean by standard, it's fixed. 1 centimeters equal 10 centimeters. So if you want to convert centimeters to millimeters, or millimeters to centimeters, or miles to yards, that's a standard unit of measurement. So our conversion factors is fixed. So our conversion factor to convert centimeters to millimeter is 1 to 10. Our conversion factor from miles to feet is 1 to 50 to 80. So that's fixed. That is just what you call by a standard unit of measurement. So it's a fixed one. Now, there are times when we don't have standard, we have non-standard one. For example, if you're looking at someone's pay, they're getting paid an hourly wage of $13.50 per hour. This means 1 hour you get paid $13.50. So this is a non-standard factor. Now, another person could be paid $16 an hour. So that'll be 1 hour equals $16. So these are not fixed. They're non-standard, so they're not fixed. So they can have a different rate for a different individual. So put it in words, the conversion factor could be different from person to person, like a rate of pay. The sentence, Eric earns $13.50 per hour, is a non-standard conversion, even though the rate could be different for other people. You could calculate Eric's pay using either the proportion method, which we looked at earlier, or the shortcut method. So either method works. So let's look at the first example. And it has to do with Eric. Now, calculate Eric's pay if he works $32.5 hours this week. Now, Eric's pay is $13.50 per hour. So we have to know his hourly pay in order to calculate how much he will be paid after 32.5 hours of work. So the word per means for each hour. So per, it means for each hour. So for every hour, he gets $13.50. So we can conclude that 1 hour, he gets $13.50. So this is the conversion factor. So $13.50 for 1 hour. So we'll use the proportion method to find out Eric's pay. So Eric's pay. I'll use a pen. Copy. Eric's pay after working 32.5 hours. We need the conversion factor first. So first step, find the conversion factor, which is equal to $13.50 for 1 hour. Now, they ask us to find how much she will get paid. Now, we put a line division lines. We're creating a proportion here, an equivalent ratio or proportion. So we line up, we have the hourly, how many hours worked, and above would be how much money you'll make. So you let that be X. So we given 32.5 hours, so we match it up with 32.5. So remember, when we're doing proportion method, we have to make sure our denominators are the same, hours and hours, and our numerators are also the same in terms of dollars. Now I can remove the hours there. So we have X is equal to 32.5 is equal to 1350 divided by 1. Now we have X 3250, 32.5. And we have 1350 over 1. Now I'm going to multiply this by 32.5 over 1. So this gives me 1. So I'm left with X. I'll also multiply what exactly I did on the left side, 32.5. So now when I multiply these two out, we have 13.5 times 32.5 gives me amount of $439.68. So we can conclude that Eric's pay is equal to $439.68. So let's highlight. So conversion factor there. Now, conversion factor could be also like a rate, rental pay. You pay, for example, $250 per month. So your conversion factor there would be 230 over 1. We look at another example below here. Now calculate the cost to rent a room for birthday party for 300 minutes if the rental rate is $110 per 90 minutes. Now, this shows you the conversion rate. Now, when I say per 90 minutes, for every 90 minutes. So this is a non-standard conversion. So the cost to rent a room for 300 minutes if it's 110 per 90 minutes. The proportion method we'll use here because it's much quicker. Now, this rate doesn't have 1 in it. So it's easier to use a proportion method. So the conversion factor here is $110 per 90 minutes. So let's look at to find the cost to rent a room. So the first step, find conversion factor. And we know right away the conversion factor is 110, 90 minutes. Now we need to find, we have equivalent ratio, we have minutes to the numerator and dollars. By putting your unit, you're matching in with what's your conversion factor. It makes your calculation much simpler and avoids any error. So they want me to find how much it will cost after 300 minutes. So the minutes here is 300. And we need to find how much it will cost us. So we strip it down without the units for now. 300, 110 over 90. Now I will do my algebra, multiply. I want to get rid of 300, so I multiply by its inverse, 300 over 1, multiply by 300 over 1 over here. So this will be, can divide it by itself. So 1, x is 110 times 300 over 90. 90 times 1 is equal to 90. Then I'll go to my friendly calculator and move this up a little bit. I'll put open brackets, so 110 multiplied by 300, close bracket. So because I have space here, I'll write this out, be 333,300 divided by 90. That gives me a result of $366.67. Conclusion is the cost to rent a room for 300 minutes is equal to $366.67. So recap, step 1, you find out your conversion factor. You write it as a fraction. Then you put an equal sign to have an equivalent fraction. Then you substitute the given values into your blank fraction. The next step, you isolate the unknown, in this case by multiplying the reciprocal of 1 over 300, which is 300 over 1, on both sides. So make sure you're doing it on both sides. Don't forget that. Once we isolate the x, then we solve using, or you can use a calculator. In this case, it's much easier to get your result. Let's look at the next example. Should be example. Example 9. Now I'm skipping a few examples, maybe I shouldn't. I'm just going to go back to example 6, 7. That might be a logical thing to do. Let's go back to example 6. In this example, we have a question: at a rate of 80 kilometers per hour, how far will you travel in 6 hours? Remember we said per means 1, right? How much, right, for each hour? So your conversion factor here, is 80 kilometers per 1 hour. I'll record that here. It's equals 80 kilometers, 1 hour. They ask us how far you will travel, your distance. So we have distance over time here. So we have to maintain, have another fraction on the side. We have time here. And then we have our distance in kilometers. We want to find in kilometers. We have 6 hours. That's x kilometer. This will give us, now if we, once we do our calculation here, we have x divided by 6 equals 80. I'm going to isolate my x by multiplying both sides. Now we're left with x is equal to 80 times 6. It gives me a result of 480 kilometers. So notice your conversion factor and equivalent fraction with your unknown. The shortcut here, you can use the quicker shortcut method. We know you're traveling 80 kilometers per hour. So every hour you travel 80 kilometers. So in 6 hours, it would be 80 multiplied by 6. You could have written it as, just box this in here, as 6 multiplied by 80. And I'll also give you shortcuts. Some of you may be confident enough to try this way, and that's fine. At a rate of 80 kilometers per hour, how long will it travel for 20 kilometers? Now they ask me to find the time. We can use the same ratio, or we can also notice what I'll show you here. You can actually reverse the ratio and flip conversion. In 1 hour, 80 kilometers. Now we can actually write that as 1 hour. And on the left, we have kilometers. And we have time here. 20 kilometers, we have 20 here. X. By putting your ratio with your unknown as a numerator, it makes your calculation, your algebra, much quicker or simpler. Because you don't have to do much cross multiplication. It's a one-step equation now. We strip this down, we have x 20 equals 1 over 80. Now I want to get rid of the 20 here, multiply both sides by 20. So you're left with x equals 1 multiplied by 20 over 80. X is equal to 0.25 hour. Now, if you're, just remember, you have to use a calculator in many of these instances. So you have 1 times 20 divided by 80, 0.5. I can actually make this as 20 over 80. So it'll take a quarter of an hour to travel 20 kilometers if you're traveling at a rate of 80 kilometers per hour. Let's look at example 7. Kiki earns $258.78 for 15 hours of work. How much will she earn for 40 hours of work? So let's look at our conversion factor. Remember, this is non-standard. So this is her rate of work, $258.75 for 15 hours. And they want to find how much she'll earn. So we have $258.75 per for 15 hours. We'll record that. 258 and the one is they were given 40 hours of work. We're going to find how much money she will make after 40 hours. So that line here is to separate our work. So we have x multiplied by 40 for 1. goes into itself once, multiply by 40 over 1. We're left with x is equal to 258.75 multiplied by 40 divided by 15. And this will give us, so double calculator here, how much would that give us? 258.75 times 40, 103.50. I'll just record that here, 103.50, or 10,000. Divided by 15 will give us $690. So after 40 hours, Kiki will earn $690. Now, our hourly rate of pay is equal to how much she makes per hour. In other words, dollars per hour. So she makes $258.75, 15 hours. So this becomes rate of pay $258.75 divided by 15, and that will give us $17.25. So rate of pay $17.25 per hour. Here, I can plant 12 seedlings in 20 minutes. How many hours will it take to plant 4.5 dozen seedlings? Now remember, one dozen is equal to 12. So the rate of conversion factor is 12 seedlings per 20 minutes. So conversion factor. So we can hear conversion factor is 20 minutes for 12 seedlings. Now, how many hours? Now we're working in minutes here, so we'll find it first in minutes, and then we convert our minutes to hours. Now, conversion factor now is 20 minutes, 12 seedlings. So we'll have seedlings on here, and we have our time. How many hours will it take 4.5 dozen? So 4.5 dozen will be 4 times 4.5 times 12. So 4.5 times 12. What if that X minutes here? Remember, so 4.5 dozen is equal to 4.5 times 12. And that will give us 54. So to verify that using your wonderful calculator, so we have a dozen is 12, and we have times 4.5. So you have 54. So we have 54 seedlings. So how long will it take to plant 54 seedlings? We have x 54 20 over 12. We have 54 over 1 multiplied by 54 over 1. So 54 is canceled, or into itself 1. So x minutes, take 20 multiplied by 54 over 12 will give us 20 multiplied by 54, 1080, divided by 12, give us 90 minutes. So we have 90 minutes. We have to convert our minutes to hour. So we know 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So find the number. So hours, time in hours is 90 by 60. It gives me 1.5 hours. So it will take 1.5 hours to plant 4.5 dozen seedlings. Okay, let's go on to example 9. The one I almost skipped, but I'll return to it. As indicated here, sometimes we must round our answers to up to a whole number in order for the answer to be reasonable. For example, people, you can't have a fraction of a person, or if you're buying something at the store like tarts, they wouldn't give you half of it. So we have to round up to a whole number. In this example, Michael must order a snack for an office meeting of 75 people. He estimates that he will need 1.5 tarts per person. So we start to look at it. This is your conversion here. Anytime you give you per, that's a hint, your conversion factor. And here you have 75 people. Tarts come in boxes of 12. How many boxes now should he buy? So conversion, or the rate, is equal to 1.5 tarts per person. Now, you need to find how many tarts you will need for 75 people. Then we can calculate how many boxes you should buy. So step 2, find how many tarts will be needed for 75 people. Since 1.5 tarts per person, the shortcut is to multiply 75 and 1.5. But we'll do it the proportion way. So here's the conversion factor. So to be consistent, we have 1.5 tarts, 1 person, and we're given how many people here? We have 75 persons. And we want to know how many tarts. We have x 75, 1.5 over 1. X is equal to 1.5 times 7. So number of tarts is equal to 1.5, so 113 tarts required. Final step, number of boxes of tarts. So we need the boxes of tarts. Now, there are 12 in each box. So that's our conversion factor here. Will be 113 divided by 12 because there are 12 in each box. That's the number of tarts here. Number of tarts needed. Which gives me 9.41 boxes. Now, the store wouldn't give you 9.41 boxes, so you may have to round up. So 10 boxes you'll need. So in this case, the store will give you 9.41 boxes. You will need to buy 10 boxes. So you have a few extra tarts there, 9 tarts. So you may have to do something about that. Let's look at the final example. Daria owns a painting company. She knows that it takes 3 cans of paint to paint a normal sized room. Our current contract requires to paint 7 normal sized rooms. So our rate is 3 cans of paint for a normal sized room. So rate here, so we can put that on here. Rate is equal to 3 cans, 1 room. Now you want to paint 7 rooms. So to paint, so you took 3 cans per room in this case, right? So to paint 7 rooms, so we have our conversion here is cans to room. By the way, this is a longer way, but you can do the shorter way, which I'll show you in a minute. And we have 7 rooms here. How many cans? So x is equal to 3 multiplied by, if we were 7, equals 21 cans. So she'll need 21 cans of paint here to paint the 7 normal size rooms. Notice my rate is 3 cans per 1 room. So you have 7 rooms, you can multiply. That's the shortcut. The shortcut 3 times 7 as here. You could have skipped the first step that I showed you here and go multiply 3 times 7. And that's fine. Now, they tell you here, if it costs $41.99 per can, calculate the total cost of the paint after taxes. Now, your taxes now is 7% GST and 7% PST. So we'll have to add those in. So we need 21 cans of paint. So cost of 21 cans of paint is equal to number of cans of paint multiplied by the cost per can of paint. So number of cans is 21. Multiplied the cost is $41.99. Now this is before taxes, which works out to be $881.79. Now we have to add taxes plus taxes. Which is, now we need to add, or now in this case, 12% tax, right? Which is 12% taxes. Maybe I should add that instead here. Plus 12% taxes. PST and GST. Now you can do this separately. You can find the 12% and then add it onto it, which I will show you here to do. So find 12% of $881.79, which is 12 over 100 multiplied by 881.79. There's a shortcut to this, but I'm showing the long way. This works out to be, let's work it out in our calculator here. Remember, you're converting a percent to a decimal before, so it'll be 12 divided by 100 multiplied by $881.79 gives me $105.82, 81 cents. That'll be 81 cents. So 12% taxes is $105.81. Now add your taxes to the costs of the paint. So total cost is $881.79 plus $105.81. Now that will give me, so my calculator here, plus $881.79, $987.60. Or it could be 61 cents if I round up here. So the total cost remember, this is a calculating your 12% taxes. Now the shortcut is that you could have take 881.79 multiplied by 1.12, and you'll end up with the same result. Meaning I could have taken 881.79 multiplied by 1.12. This means you're taking the original amount and you're adding 12% to it. If I were to do that calculation here, so 881.79 multiplied by 1.12 give you the same result, which is they'll tell you that Daria can paint very quickly. She can paint a normal sized room in 4 to 5 minutes. Determine the number of hours Daria required to paint all 7 rooms. Our rate of painting here, can paint a normal sized room, is 4 to 5 minutes for 1 room. So rate painting one room. So that's our rate of painting. Right. The question asks how determine the number of hours. How long will it take her to paint all 7 rooms? So to paint 7 rooms. So here's a conversion factor, 4 to 5 minutes. 1 room. Is equal to 7 rooms. Okay. So now how long will it take her in minutes here to paint 7 rooms? You have x over 7, 45 over 1. Now, multiply by 7 over 1, multiply by 7. So time taken will be 4 to 5 multiplied by 7. That will give me minutes. So let's find that out. Equals 315 minutes. But I ask you the total number of hours. So we want to change that to hours. So we total number of hours. So we divide it by 60, get the 60 minutes an hour, give me 5.25 hours. So we'll take Daria 5.25 hours to paint 7 rooms.